Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Stories Yanko back here with another video. I know it's been a minute since I uploaded. I always say that, but y'all used to that. But y'all already know I drop facts, so it's all good, man. But I want to start off by saying this: the next 2 months, that including September, October, will be the two biggest months of my entire life. It dictates where my life goes, and I finished up everything with my trucking company, just waiting insurance, tag, stuff like that. But my weight cut is going good with boxing. I'm advancing. I'm doing everything. And I just got one thing left to figure out. And if it happens and it turns out good, we only can go up. All right. So I have a lot more time to make videos, do whatever I want. But this weekend is Rolly Romero versus Teofimo Lopez. I won't be going over the undercard because, quite frankly, the fight was kind of sprung on us. If I'm keeping it real, I'm pretty sure there's some good undercard fights, prelim fights, and I will be watching them. But I just want to talk about the main event, right? And the thing about this fight right here, it's not really about Tio. It's not really about Rolly in the bigger scheme of the entire boxing community. This is a backdrop to a bunch of fanboys on both sides trying to get their narrative pushed. But unfortunately, one side shouldn't have to push their narrative, because if you weren't a hater of this fighter, then you would be able to call things down the middle. All right. And unfortunately, because people hate said fighter, they are willing to discredit the guys that he has beaten in order to, I guess, make this a more competitive fight. And the guy I'm speaking about is Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. You have many guys that are picking Rolly who are Devin Haney fans, Shakur haters, Tank fans. They're only picking Rolly because they want to discredit Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. They don't really have any issue with Tio. Everybody knows that he beat Josh Taylor, former undisputed champion. He beat Prime Lomachenko, way more dominant performance than Devin Haney. He beat Sandor Martin, the same guy that, Alberto Puello went to, competitive fight with, same guy that Devin Haney dropped his belt against. You know, then Jermaine Ortiz, same guy that gave Lomachenko problems, but Keyshawn ended up stopping. So, it's fight math. We're not going to get into that. But still, overall, Teofimo Lopez, if Tim Bradley is in the Hall of Fame, a two-division unified lineal champion deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And if he wins this belt, which he will win, he's going to win tomorrow. But we're going to get into that. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. But you have a lot of people discrediting him because they don't want to give Shakur that credit, the same way how they discredit Zepeda and saying how Zepeda, he just doesn't have power. He's this, he's that. And then he just ran through Lamont Roach. And I picked Roach to win. I picked Roach to win because I thought he was going to throw more combinations than he did. He had success when he did throw combinations, but once again, he just didn't have a good game plan. And William Zepeda, he ran straight through him, and congratulations to him. But it made Shakur look like, wow, Shakur's really like that. He made Zepeda look like nothing, right? Like he really was cooking Zepeda. Very entertaining fight. My favorite Shakur Stevenson fight. But people don't want to give Shakur credit. So they want to minimize what Teofimo Lopez is and his legacy as a fighter and prop up Rolly Romero. You have a lot of Tank fans that are like, man, Rolly's going to win. And they're hoping that he wins so it can boost up Tank's profile. That's really what it is. Like, it's a bunch of fanboys on each side, but the issue is that we know that Tio is a better boxer. The only advantage that Rolly has is power. That's it. And a lot of guys are hoping that Tio is reckless enough to get caught with a shot and get put down and get stopped. People are hoping that Tio loses because they want to discredit Shakur while simultaneously bigging up Tank Davis's resume. But Rolly has never been seen as Rolly is more of a gimmick type of fighter, you know? He's an awkward guy, but he gets put into certain opportunities to where he's able to fight for world titles, where other guys who are better than him are not. You know, you have Jack Catterall, who is better than Rolly Romero, but hasn't even gotten a title fight yet. You know, you have even Shakram Giasov, he was his mandatory. You know, he's still better than Rolly. I don't know what he was going on, what was wrong with him in that fight against Jack Catterall, but, you know, that's the reason why Rolly was so hesitant to fight him, and he wanted to make the Devin Haney fight happen because he didn't want to fight his mentor because it was a dangerous fight. But Rolly's just one of these guys who kind of like a gimmick type of fighter, very awkward, but, you know, very powerful, able to steal one. You know, the fight against Ryan Garcia is because that was the worst version of Ryan Garcia we've ever seen. He wasn't training. He wasn't taking it serious, and you know wasn't working on nothing, and you know he got beat by Rolly Romero. But then you saw a serious Ryan coming back, locked in, and he beat Marius Barrios. Very dominant performance, and that's what he's going to do to Conor Benn. He's going to stop Conor Benn, and you know it is what it is. But this fight right here is really just the fanboys versus the fanboys. And yes, y'all know that I am a Shakur Stevenson fan, big fan of Shakur Stevenson. He's my second favorite fighter. But the thing is, Shakur makes it hard when you're not a fanboy of another fighter. The issue is like when you're just a boxing fan, I'm a fan of boxing first, and then a fan of Shakur second. When you're a fan of another fighter first, and not really a fan of boxing as a whole, you only can have a bias or a perspective on boxing in relation to said fighter. Like Devin Haney fans, Tank Davis fans, they don't really watch boxing. They sit on Twitter all day and, you know, talk about whatever narrative surrounding their fighter. Like KO Boxing, he keeps saying, oh, they dunked Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank is not even fighting this year. You can't duck a fighter that's not even eligible to fight this year because of whatever he has going on outside the ring. But once again, they push that narrative because it's about whatever narrative surrounding their fighter. It's not really about the boxing game as a whole. It's not, ooh, Jesus, excuse me. It's not really about what's going on in the ring. It's solely about what is in relation to that fighter. So it has nothing to do with really Teo. I have Teofimo Lopez winning either by stoppage or winning by UD. I don't think this is going to be a very competitive fight at all. I think Teo is going to school him. And even Rolly told you himself that Teo always put belt to ass in their sparring sessions. I understand it's sparring and you have good days in sparring, bad days in sparring. But if a fighter is constantly saying, hey, yeah, like he always put belt to my ass in sparring, that's quite literally how it's going to go in the real ring. Like in a real fight, that's how it's going to go. You have competitive days. You have certain days where it's like, you know, you may get the better of the better guy, the better fighter, even if you are seen as the lesser fighter. But if it's not competitive back and forth ever in a real fight, it's not going to be competitive. I'm just keeping it real. That's just how it is. And a lot of people are hoping that Teofimo Lopez is as bad as they want him to be. It's not as bad as they think he is. You got a lot of people pushing narratives because deep down they don't want him to win. Rolly is a somewhat likable guy, and Teo is not a very likable guy to some people, right? So it's a lot of opinions. It's a lot of, you know, we don't want to see Teo win because he's Teo, but it's a big portion of people that don't want to see Teo win just strictly because, you know, Shakur beat him. Because Shakur made him look like nothing. People forget what he made Arnold Barboza Jr. look like, what he made Josh Taylor look like, you know, Lomachenko. But at the same time, forget all that. He lost to Kambosos. And you're right, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. I'm pretty sure if they rematched, there would have been a rematch and he would have won. Probably would have stopped Kambosos because Kambosos isn't that good, right? But Teo, riding on confidence, got reckless, and he got put down for the first time, and he didn't know what to do after that. He was like a hurt dog. But it is what it is. Fights like that happen in the realm of boxing. Upsets happen, right? But it is not solely defining of a person's career unless they end off on that upset. But this fight right here, it's not going to be competitive. I have Tio winning because I understand boxing. I'm not saying, oh, I hope Tio wins because I want to boost up Shakur. It's just he's the better boxer. He's the better boxer. I can't sit up here and lie and say that, oh, Rolly has a chance. Yes, anybody has a puncher's chance. It's boxing. It's boxing. Anyone has a puncher's chance. Everyone has a chance. Okay? It only takes one punch, right? But the chances of a fighter landing that punch when the skill gap is so wide, when it's massive, it's like an ocean, right? And the size difference isn't that super crazy. It's big enough, you know, to where you're like, okay, yeah, Rolly is bigger than Tio, but it's not like he's the size of Tank Davis, right? But the skill gap is so wide to the point that, like, say with Rolly and Ryan, you know, Ryan was slightly more skilled than Rolly, but Ryan was solely reliant upon the left hook, right? And all Rolly had to do was train to take that away. And Ryan didn't have anything else. He didn't have nothing else, okay? So with this version of Ryan would beat Rolly because it's a 2. It's not even, it's a 1-2. It's a, you know, it's not just, oh, the 3. And what I mean by the 3 is the lead hook, okay? You casuals. Y'all don't understand boxing knowledge, all right? You only know, oh, the 1-2. What about a 5, you know? What about a 45? Yeah, y'all don't know nothing about that, right? Okay. But, so this fight right here is a wash. It's a lot of frustrated fanboys that want Tio to lose. It's a bunch of frustrated fanboys that want Rolly to win. That's all this is about. You know, I can't wait to see the fight. It's a good fight on paper because both guys are at weird points in their career. All right, Tio, if he loses, it's over with. I'm just keeping it real. It's over with. If Rolly loses, he'll be more of a JoJo Diaz type of guy. He's always going to get fights. I don't know why people are making it seem like it's end or be all for both of these fighters. One fighter beat Ryan Garcia 18 months ago, and the other fighter just came off of a loss to Shakur Stevenson, a very bad loss. Okay, Tio needs this win more than Rolly Romero. Rolly is going to be good. All right, so hey man, I can't wait to see the fight. So shout out to both fighters. May the best man win, which I already know is going to be Tio. Peace.